What's up, Wrestlingverse family? Welcome back to the channel, and if you just clicked on this video, you are about to witness a breakdown of one of the most savage, most intense, and most absolutely jaw-dropping beatdowns in recent WWE history. I'm talking about Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate, unleashing absolute hell on Bron Breakker in a moment that has the entire wrestling world buzzing right now. Before we dive into this insanity, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell because here at Wrestlingverse CC, we bring you the best wrestling breakdowns every single day. And family, drop a comment below telling me, did Bron Breakker deserve this beatdown, or did Brock take things way too far? Let's break down every single devastating moment. Family, let me set the stage for you because the context behind this attack is absolutely crucial to understanding why this moment was so significant. Brock Lesnar is quite simply one of the most dominant forces in WWE history. This man is a former UFC heavyweight champion, a multiple-time WWE champion, a Royal Rumble winner, and someone who has destroyed everyone who has ever stood in his way. When Brock Lesnar shows up, people get hurt. That's not a threat, that's not hype, that's just a fact of life in WWE. Brock has been on a rampage lately, taking out superstars left and right, reminding everyone why he's called the Beast incarnate. He's a freak of nature, a genetic anomaly, someone who can do things in that ring that nobody else can do. The combination of raw power, incredible athleticism, legitimate fighting experience, and that primal intensity makes Brock Lesnar the most dangerous man in professional wrestling. Everyone knows this. Everyone respects this. Everyone fears this. Enter Bron Breakker, the young lion, the next generation superstar who has been making waves since the moment he arrived in WWE. Bron is a Steiner, wrestling royalty, a second-generation talent with all the tools to become a future world champion. He has his family's legendary intensity, incredible power for someone his age, freakish athleticism, and a confidence that borders on arrogance. Bron Breakker has been on his own path of destruction, mowing down everyone in his path, looking absolutely unstoppable. But here's where things get interesting, family. Bron Breakker has been talking. And I mean really talking. In recent weeks, Bron has been cutting promos about being the future of WWE, about being the most dominant force in the company, about how the old generation needs to step aside and make way for him. He's been calling out legends, dismissing veterans, and basically painting a target on his back. That confidence, that swagger, it's entertaining, but it's also dangerous when you're saying these things in a company where Brock Lesnar still shows up. The tension had been building for weeks, family. Bron would make comments about how he's the real beast, how he's more athletic than anyone who came before him, how he represents the evolution of what a WWE superstar should be. He never directly called out Brock Lesnar by name, but everyone knew who he was talking about. The wrestling world was watching and waiting, wondering if Brock was paying attention, wondering if the Beast would respond. Well, family, Brock Lesnar was definitely paying attention. And on this night, Brock decided it was time to teach Bron Breakker a lesson about respect, about hierarchy, and about what happens when you talk too much in a business where actions speak louder than words. What followed was not a match, it was not a competition, it was a systematic destruction of a young superstar who flew too close to the sun. The attack happened so suddenly that nobody saw it coming. Bron Breakker was in the ring cutting another one of his promos, talking about how he's cleared out the entire locker room, how there's nobody left who can challenge him, how he's proven that he's the most dominant force in WWE. The crowd was reacting, some booing his arrogance, some cheering his confidence, but everyone was engaged. And then, family, then that music hit. The sound of Brock Lesnar's entrance music sent shockwaves through the arena. The crowd erupted, the atmosphere completely changed, and you could see the look on Bron Breakker's face. For the first time since arriving in WWE, Bron looked uncertain. He looked surprised. But credit to him, he didn't back down. He stood in the center of that ring, microphone in hand, waiting to see what the Beast incarnate wanted. Brock Lesnar walked down that ramp with Paul Heyman by his side, and the intensity was palpable. Brock wasn't smiling. He wasn't playing around, he had that look in his eyes that every WWE fan recognizes. That's the look Brock gets before he destroys someone. Brock climbed into the ring, and for a moment, family, For just a brief moment, the two beasts stood face to face. The young lion versus the established predator. The future versus the present. Bron Breakker versus Brock Lesnar. Bron made a critical mistake in that moment, family. Instead of showing respect, instead of acknowledging who he was standing across from, Bron shoved Brock Lesnar. He actually put his hands on the beast incarnate and shoved him. The crowd gasped. Everyone watching knew what was about to happen, and Bron Breakker was about to learn the hardest lesson of his young career. Brock exploded with a fury that shocked everyone in that arena. He grabbed Bron and hit an overhead belly-to-belly suplex that sent the young superstar flying across the ring like he weighed nothing. Bron crashed hard into the turnbuckles, but before he could even process what just happened, Brock was on him again. Another overhead belly-to-belly suplex, and this time Bron flew even further, landing in a heap on the mat. The beatdown was relentless, family. Brock wasn't just trying to win a fight, he was trying to send a message to Bron, to the entire locker room, to every young superstar who thinks they can disrespect the legends who built this business. Brock hit another suplex, then another, then another. He was tossing Bron Breakker around that ring like a ragdoll, and despite Bron's incredible size and power, he looked completely helpless against the beast incarnate. Bron tried to fight back, family. Credit to him, he didn't just curl up and take it. Bron threw strikes, he tried to create space, he even managed to hit Brock with a shoulder tackle. But Brock barely moved. He absorbed the impact, smiled that terrifying smile, and then unleashed even more fury on the young superstar. This was Brock showing Bron that there are levels to this business, and Bron wasn't on his level yet. The German suplexes started coming, family, and when Brock Lesnar starts hitting German suplexes, you know someone is about to have a very bad night. One German suplex, Bron landed hard on his neck and shoulders. Two German suplexes, Bron tried to crawl away but there was nowhere to go. Three German suplexes, the crowd was counting along, stunned by the brutality they were witnessing. 4, 5, 6 German suplexes, and Bron Breakker was completely out of it, barely conscious, his body broken in the middle of that ring. But Brock wasn't done, family. He picked up Bron one more time, hoisted him up on his shoulders, and delivered a devastating F5 that nearly drove Bron through the canvas. The impact was sickening, the crowd was in shock, and Bron Breakker was laid out, motionless in the center of the ring. Brock stood over him, breathing heavily, looking down at the young superstar he had just dismantled, making sure everyone understood the message he was sending. Paul Heyman got on the microphone and delivered a promo that sent chills down everyone's spine. He talked about how Bron Breakker needed to learn respect, how you don't call yourself a beast when the beast is still active in WWE, how this beatdown was a lesson not just for Bron but for every young superstar who thinks they can skip the line and disrespect those who came before them. Heyman's words, combined with the visual of Bron broken in the ring, created a moment that will be replayed for years to come. The aftermath of this attack was chaotic, family. Medical personnel rushed to the ring to check on Bron Breakker. He had to be helped to the back, unable to walk on his own power, his body battered from the suplex clinic Brock had just put on. The crowd was buzzing, social media exploded, and the wrestling world immediately started debating what this means for both superstars moving forward. Let's talk about the implications of this attack, family. For Brock Lesnar, this was a reminder to everyone that he's still the most dangerous man in WWE. Despite not being on television every week, despite other superstars trying to claim his throne, Brock proved that when he shows up, he's still the apex predator. This attack reestablishes Brock at the top of the food chain and sets him up for major programs with any top star in the company. For Bron Breakker, this attack is actually a huge moment in his career development. Yes, he got destroyed. Yes, he was made to look vulnerable for the first time. But being in a segment with Brock Lesnar, being important enough for the beast to come out and teach him a lesson, that's a big deal. This puts Bron on the map as someone who matters, someone who's on Brock's radar, someone who's significant enough to warrant this kind of attention. The question now is, how does Bron respond, family? Does he come back humbled, having learned respect the hard way? Does he come back even more fired up, wanting revenge against Brock Lesnar? Does this attack light a fire under Bron that pushes him to another level? The best superstars in WWE history have all had moments where they got destroyed by a legend, and how they responded to those moments defined their careers. This is Bron Breakker's defining moment. The match potential coming out of this is absolutely incredible, family. Brock Lesnar vs. Bron Breakker in a sanctioned match, with time to prepare, with a storyline behind it, that's a dream match. You have two of the most physically imposing superstars in WWE, two incredible athletes, two men with legitimate fighting backgrounds and wrestling pedigrees. When these two eventually face off one-on-one in an actual match, it's going to be must-see television. The comparisons between these two are fascinating, family. Both are physical specimens who don't look like normal human beings. Both have amateur wrestling backgrounds that give them legitimate credibility. Both have that intensity and aggression that makes them stand out. But Brock has experience, he has the big match mentality, he has a decade and a half of main event experience that Bron simply doesn't have yet. This attack showed that experience gap clearly. From a storytelling perspective, this attack was perfect, family. It creates instant heat, it establishes stakes, it gives both characters clear motivation moving forward. Brock has asserted his dominance and reminded everyone who the real alpha is. Bron has a reason to chase Brock, to want revenge, to prove that he can hang with the absolute best. This is wrestling storytelling at its finest, creating compelling narratives that make fans want to see what happens next. The WWE Universe reaction to this has been overwhelmingly positive, family. Fans love seeing Brock Lesnar in this destroyer role, love seeing him remind everyone why he's special. Fans also appreciate that WWE is investing in Bron Breakker by putting him in a program with someone as significant as Brock. This feels big, it feels important, and that's what WWE needs to be doing with their young talent. Let's also talk about the physical storytelling in this beatdown, family. Every suplex Brock hit meant something. He wasn't just throwing Bron around randomly, he was methodically breaking him down, targeting different parts of his body, making sure the punishment was comprehensive. Brock's ring awareness, his ability to work safely while making everything look devastating, that's the mark of a true professional. And Bron, despite being on the receiving end, sold everything perfectly, making Brock look like an absolute monster. The timing of this attack is interesting too, family. WWE is heading towards some major premium live events, and this segment creates a potential blockbuster match that could main event any show. Brock Lesnar matches are special attractions, they draw eyeballs, they create buzz, and having him involved in a program with an up-and-coming star like Bron Breakker is smart booking. This benefits everyone involved and gives fans something exciting to anticipate. There's also the Paul Heyman factor, family. Having Heyman cut that promo after the attack added so much to the segment. Heyman is the greatest talker in wrestling history, and his ability to take a moment and elevate it with his words is unmatched. Heyman explaining why this attack was necessary, why Bron needed to be taught this lesson, that context made everything mean more. It wasn't just violence for violence's sake, it was violence with purpose. Looking at the bigger picture, family, this attack affects the entire WWE landscape. Every young superstar in that locker room just saw what happens when you get too cocky, when you talk too much without backing it up against the absolute best. This creates a sense of hierarchy, reminds everyone that the legends still matter, and that you can't just skip steps on your way to the top. That's healthy for the WWE ecosystem. For fans who have been following Bron Breakker's career from NXT to the main roster, this is a pivotal moment. We've watched him dominate, watched him look unstoppable, watched him claim to be the future. Now we get to see how he handles adversity, how he responds to being beaten down by someone better than him. This is character development, this is how you build a complete superstar, not just someone who wins all the time but someone who can overcome obstacles. The athletic ability both of these men possess is off the charts, family. When you watch Brock Lesnar, a man in his 40s, throwing around someone as big and powerful as Bron Breakker like it's nothing, it reminds you that Brock is truly one of one. And when you see Bron taking those suplexes, getting up, trying to fight back, it shows his toughness and resilience. Both men looked like stars in this segment, even though only one walked away standing. Wrestling vs. family, this attack is going to be talked about for a long time. This is the kind of segment that defines eras, that creates legendary rivalries, that gets replayed in video packages years from now. Brock Lesnar destroying Bron Breakker was shocking, brutal, and absolutely necessary for the story WWE is telling. And we're here for every single moment of what comes next. What's your take on this attack, family? Did Brock go too far? Or did Bron need this reality check? Do you want to see a match between these two at a premium live event? How should Bron respond to this beatdown? Who do you think would win in an actual match between Brock Lesnar and Bron Breakker? Drop all your thoughts, predictions, and reactions in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going because I love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this breakdown of one of the most brutal attacks in recent WWE memory, you absolutely need to smash that like button right now. That like helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow, and tells me you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe button and officially join the Wrestlingverse family. We're building something special here, and I want you to be part of it. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a video, because we drop fresh wrestling content every single day. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know, family. Post it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, wherever you hang out online. Let's get everyone talking about this attack and about Wrestlingverse CC. The more we grow together, the better content I can bring you, and that's what it's all about. Building this community and celebrating our love for professional wrestling. Follow Wrestlingverse CC on all social media platforms for daily wrestling updates, quick takes, memes, and so much more. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok bringing you content around the clock. Join the conversation, interact with other fans, and let's make Wrestlingverse CC the #1 wrestling community on the internet. Thank you so much for watching, Wrestlingverse family. Your support means everything, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Every view, every like, every comment, every share, it all makes a difference. I'll catch you in the next video where we'll continue breaking down all the biggest moments in WWE and professional wrestling. Until then, stay entertained, stay respectful, and remember that in WWE, when you poke the beast, you better be ready for the consequences. Peace out, family.